I really enjoy the evening sky, watching as night gently arrives, seeing the stars fill the sky and the clouds drift by. It brings such a peaceful feeling. So I plan to capture that vibe in the resin project and luckily found an effective way to achieve it without breaking the bank. All you need is some cotton, which you can find almost anywhere. Today, I'm going to share this skill with you all, and I hope you enjoy it. Alright, let's get started. Here are the supplies we need today. First, it's an epoxy resin kit with pump, which makes it easier to handle. No need to worry about it being too heavy to hold. For colors, I choose sapphire blue and sky blue resin dye. The colors are really close to the real sky. And for the clouds, I use ocean white pigment to enhance the effect. The cloud part is made from medical cotton. Pretty cool, right? Are you excited to see how it turns out? I chose the cuboid mold. It's perfect for making home decoration ornaments. Here are the wooden slats for the cuboid mold to help keep them in place. One of my favorite pigment is the holographic glitter. I'm excited to use it to make the stars twinkling effect. Here is a small model airplane. It's tiny and adorable. I got it from the local store and plan to create a scene with the airplane flying through the clouds. And finally, some usual mixing and measuring tools. Here we go. Firstly, take out our 3-gallon epoxy resin kit and set up the pump. Using this pump is going to make handling the resin way easier. Honestly, trying to lift and pour 1.5 gallons resin is pretty tough, so the pump is very helpful for big volume resin kit. Using a pump, you can squeeze out the exact amount of resin you need. Then we'll use our electric mixer to well mix resin. It's going to be convenient and fast. I've got 8 O's epoxy resin here, but I only used 4 O's to mix with the white pigment. The leftover resin can be saved for another project. Once everything's mixed up nicely, just add a drop of ocean white pigment into it. We only need a tiny bit, like the size of a peanut grain. We're going to use it to set the base color of the project. After mixing with the stirring stick, you can simply spray it with alcohol and wipe it clean with a paper towel in time. I've also added double-sided tape to the wooden slats, which helps secure the mold. I've had many people ask about issues they've encountered with this mold, like the mold moving during the process, resulting in irregular final shapes. I'm hoping the tip will help you avoid that. Make sure to stick each side securely. Assembling the wood frame is simple. Just align the wooden frame with the groove and then assemble it. Then, place the mold into the wooden frame, adjust its position, and press the mold's edges onto the double-sided tape on the wooden frame. Use your fingers to firmly press and secure it in place. At this point, we can pour the resin that we mixed with white pigment before. After about 8 hours of curing, we can move on to the second layer. All right, it's been 8 hours, and now we're ready for the second layer of the effect. For this layer, I chose a clear solid color resin dye and added some sapphire blue and sky blue to it. I wanted to create a gradient effect in the sky, kind of like the gradual fall of darkness. I actually mixed a little more resin than I needed this time, almost 3 O's of each color. Add the colorant slowly and mix until it's nearly the desired shade. Glitter in diamond laser silver is very gorgeous and sparkles with a rainbow color-changing effect. It's incredibly bright and stunning. Use a wooden stick to take a small amount and mix it into the resin. I wanted to make it look like twinkling stars in the night sky. Pour the sapphire blue resin into one side of the mold, then pour the sky blue resin into the other side so they kinda mix together where they meet. See that burst of stars? That's from the glitter we added. Doesn't it kinda look like the night sky? Now, let's move on to the other part of the cloud effect. I use medical cotton, which you can get it easily. We need to fluff up the cotton and tear it into sections. This helps the cotton blend with the resin and shape it better. Squeeze out the ocean white pigment onto the cotton, then add a small amount of epoxy resin and mix it in. You can check if the resin is in the right proportion by looking at the texture of the cotton. If the cotton still looks grainy and can be molded into shape, then you've got the right amount of resin. Next, you can use tweezers to take out the cotton and shape it however you like. Once it's shaped, place the cloud onto the mold and let it cure. You can also place cotton balls along the sides of the mold. When they're cured, these clouds can be attached to the sides of the mold as decoration, giving it a floating effect. After shaping, wait for 12 hours for it to cure. Then we need to apply a second layer to seal it. Now you can see that the cloud has fully cured, but you'll also notice there are lots of tiny holes on the surface. If we pour resin directly, it'll cause a lot of bubbles. So what we gotta do is to seal a layer on the surface of the cloud. Soak the clouds in epoxy resin and give them a gentle shake. Then, place the resin-coated cloud into the mold. Scrape off any excess resin on the surface, and waiting for curing. If you notice any air bubbles during the curing process, you can use sharp tweezers to poke them. After about 10 minutes of resting, transfer the clouds to a clean mold to finish drying. 24 hours later, all the clouds were fully cured, and you will see that they have a three-dimensional shape. Arrange the clouds as you like, then apply UV resin on the back edge of the cloud, place the cloud on it, and use a UV flashlight to dry it. Once it's set, pour on the first layer of clear epoxy resin. I used about 4 O's of epoxy resin because I want to allow enough time for the first layer of epoxy resin to cure on the surface decoration clouds. If the first layer ends up too thick, it might mess things up. We have to wait for this first layer to cure before decorating the surface of the cloud. After 10 hours, the resin is cured, and we use UV resin to fix the clouds again. Then, we can also fix our airplane's shape with UV resin. Now, for the jet cloud effect on the tail of the airplane, mix the ocean white pigment into the UV resin thoroughly. Use dental floss to draw a long, trailing cloud effect and wipe off any excess with paper towels. Use UV flashlight to cure the texture. It's recommended to scrape out the texture while shine the light, as it will make the trailing cloud effect look more realistic. It's time to pour the second layer of clear epoxy resin with 8OZ again. Remember to keep the proportion of resin consistent each time. After waiting for 8 hours for it to cure, we'll pour on the third layer of clear epoxy resin, also using 8OZ and maintaining the same proportion of resin so that you won't see a clear line where the layers meet. Waited 8 hours to cure again, poured on a fourth coat of clear epoxy resin, and the final coat has been applied. It will be ready tomorrow. After letting it set for 12 hours, it's completely cured, and we can finally take it out of the mold. I'm so excited. Start by removing the outer frame, then it should be easy to take out the resin block from the mold. Overall, I'm still pleased with how it turned out. It's very translucent, though there are some slight marks on the sides from the process, which can be hard to avoid. Did you see the shiny glitter inside? It gives the impression that the stars are glowing at you, doesn't it? I'm so happy to share this interesting crafting technique with you today. This shape is perfect for displaying in your home or giving as a gift to your friends or family. You can even place it on a glowing base to turn it into a light. When I look at it, I get the feeling of looking up at the sky and being free and relaxed. I hope you enjoy this work and wish you luck and happiness every day. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you.